This is Robert Exel, Editor-in-Chief of the Sweet Science. I'm here at the studio of LeRoy Neiman, a world-famous painter and artist, at his studio just off of Central Park West in New York City.
I was living in Paris. I came here from Paris, but I lived in Chicago for, I taught there and I studied there and everything. I was originally from St. Paul, but after the war I just took off that, so I didn't want to go back there.
Right, I understand.
But it was a good fight town. That's where I got the fight bug, St. Paul. The boxing was a relief because in St. Paul we had church basement boxing, and all the parishes would have their own kids, and we'd fight one night at St. Bernard's and different places. And I was 50-50 maybe if I kept a record, you know. But we had kids who were really good. And that's where I got to respect what it took. You know, the street fighting never impressed me because it was always kind of cowardly the way they go at it. You know, they hit, and they, try to hurt each other. Boxing was different, and that's a nice view when you come from the streets. Like today, they have everything organized. Then it wasn't organized. This was the Depression. Nobody had any money. There were no charities, nothing. But boxing was like a clean thing to do. And had nothing to do with your parents or anything. I don't think there's anybody, any profession where a guy can get handsome, an ordinary looking guy. The punches are just right. If they hit them, if the nose gets hit just the right way, at a certain time when they're winning and they got the confidence, they're downright handsome. They're ladies' men. And then you see them go too long, and they become sad, and it's in their eyes. It's such a short time, and they always have a following when they're hot, when they're young, and they get a little spoiled, and then it's all over. One of my favorite paintings I ever did was a big life-size painting I did of Sugar Ray Robinson. In a way, because when I painted Sugar Ray Robinson, you were dealing with class, with exaggerated class. I mean, not cocktail, but just class. That's all. The guy had that, and he was a show-off and everything. But I had that big painting, and then they had a big retirement honoring Sugar Ray. And he took his belts down there, and they put my big painting up in the garden, in the lobby. It was the old garden, I think. That was the old garden. Yeah, it was the old garden. And anyway, there was nice, all that stuff going on, all the ceremony and all that stuff, and there was a fight card. So the next morning, I get this friend of mine with an open card, and we were going to pick it up. We didn't have a truck. The garden brought it down here in a truck. And we go in the garden in the morning to pick up the painting in this convertible. And the guy said, you're a little late. He said, a truck just backed in here and took it. And that's the last we ever saw the painting.
Seriously?
Yeah. That painting's out there somewhere. You can see there I use enamel, I use acrylic, I use oil, I use anything. I mean, the main thing I do is I don't make a drawing for the painting. I get an idea in my head what I'm going to do, but then I make plastic so I can change it while I'm doing it. I don't have a format I have to stick to. Mm-hmm. So I create my own rules. Let's see. So the whole theory of painting to me is that they got to make sure the paint is dry before you paint over it. The bad thing is you got the slow drying paint, and I mean, you can't just do anything you want, but I mean, you can still do it your way, not a way that you were taught or other people are working or somebody else suggests you to do. You got to just do it the way you experience it, the way you feel about it. And for me, I think it's worked pretty well. First time I drew Ali, he's a kid, but he's interested. He look at you, a little suspicious. And one night before the Bonavento fight, he was still a little unsure of himself. Not as loud as he was. He was in the dressing room. But anyway, about a half hour before the fight maybe, and Ollie suddenly lights up. He says, "Everybody out of the dressing room. LeRoy, you stay. Angie, and you, Angie." Two guys. Everybody out. So they all cleared out of there. And then there was a little room on the side with the rubbing table on it with the hockey players. It was a hockey type of dressing room. He goes in there and lays down. He stretches out on the table, and he said, "Angie, close the door." Then, "Angie, turn out the lights." There we are in the dark. "Now, LeRoy, I want to see you if you can draw in the dark." What a clown, you know. And so I could, you adjust to the light, and I'd drawn him so many times. And I actually did do a drawing on one time when Saria was rubbing him. And so I made a makeshift, I'd do a drawing on my board. And suddenly after about 10 minutes, Ollie jumps up. "Time! Angie, turn on the lights." The lights go on. He grabs my book. "You do that?" That kind of stuff. I said, "While you were there." He said, "You can draw better than I thought you could. You can draw better in the light, in the dark and the light." But he never got it. He just all the time. But those are wonderful memories. The Joe Louis were down in Houston, and Joe Louis was fighting Big Cat Williams. And it was a big fight. No, I mean, Ollie was fighting Big Cat Williams, but Joe Louis was ghostwriting for some paper. And we all used to sit at the same table and eat every night. Cannon and I can't remember the other sports writer's name there, but Joe Louis would come sometimes and sit with us. And that's when we found out that Joe Louis was, he'd see the guy and say, what you gonna order? What you having?" "Chicken, okay." "What are you having?" And he'd find out. And so he would order what one of the guys had, and the food would come, put it down, and Joe Louis would quick switch plates. He thought everybody was trying to poison him. He was living that way then.
Right.
You know, and he had a lot of, but I loved Joe Louis. You know, Joe used to call me by name, and every time Joe Louis spoke to me, I was thrilled. Johnny Persall was fighting Big Train Lincoln. And Big Train Lincoln was a sparring partner with Liston. And he always looked good. And he had a good record. And but he's big. And Johnny Persall was really a light heavyweight. And the guy weighed about 218 or something like that. And he was taller and a better, overwhelming favorite. So I'm in there, and Johnny's moving around. And I'm standing with Gil and Howie Albert. And I said, "Gee, he looks awfully good." Howie says, "Tell him that." So he goes shuffling by, you know. And I said, "Geez," I said, "You put on a lot of weight or something. You look so big." And he feels good. He moves on again. He starts throwing harder punches, and you know. And I said, "You're a full-fledged heavyweight." And he looked like a 175-pound fighter. That's what he looked like. I just said it not for the hell of it. I just said it to be nice, why I said it, to impress Howie or something. But anyway, he went in there and won every round of that fight. He just walked out there and took care of that guy. And that guy never amounted to anything after that. He's straight downhill. In fact, he went to Sweden and got knocked out a couple of times by Liston over there.
A loss can change a career.
Yep.
Very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm. And in his dressing room after that fight, I dropped in to say hello to him. And he said, "I just bought me a new Lincoln Continental." He said, "I just bought myself a new home." He said, "I got it." He said, "I was really rolling." He said, "I'm in debt now." You know, the guy was head hanging, really something. Also immediate, right there. And not dumb. Never dumb to me. It's always with feeling. Always with the truth. I think that's what the boxing game is, it's the truth.